It's Sunday, August 29th, 2021. I want to start this afternoon by acknowledging the service members who lost their lives a couple days ago in Afghanistan, a real tragedy. Two of the Marines that lost their lives, one of them lived out in Norco, right in my county here, Riverside County. The other lived in the Palm Desert area, right near me. And his father, employed by the Riverside County Sheriff's Department as a captain, uh, at one of the stations out here, and I have friends who work with him and say he's a great guy, and so sad to lose such young people, to lose Americans, and I feel so bad. My heart goes out to the families, the parents. Please be praying for these people. My thoughts and prayers go to all of their families. Please keep all of these family members in your prayers, even though we didn't know them personally. We need to be praying for them. And I just think about this tragedy and the pain and suffering that these parents are going through, and they're going to live with this for the rest of their lives. And all this happened for what? Why were we ever there? Such an unorganized way of pulling out of this country. And the world is watching this, ladies and gentlemen, and they see weakness. And the world is beginning to lose confidence in America, and in return, it is going to continue to lose confidence in the US dollar. But we are showing weakness, and I think that there's going to be huge repercussions coming here because of it. And the amount of weaponry, $80 billion left over there in weapons. This is absolute pure insanity. We are really asking for big trouble, and we're going to get it. We're going to get big trouble in every form you can imagine. But I want to continue today. I want to go over a few articles with you. Please feel free to comment down below about anything you want to comment today. And let me remind all of you, those comments, so many people, thousands of people read those comments. It has woken up so many people. It has gotten people in better physical and spiritual shape. It has gotten people in better financial shape. It has made people start to critically think for themselves, think outside of the box, and begin to see that there is big trouble coming to America. This article comes from survivalblog.com. Food prices rise as food inflation worsens, pushing many Americans to a tipping point of food shortages. Don't wait until it's too late. Things are getting worse by the end of 2021. What are your thoughts on that? Many of you continue to write me. You're writing in the comments. Food shelves at the grocery stores, the big box stores, the Walmarts, you're seeing empty shelves, and you're beginning to notice that there's certain items you cannot get. What is this going to look like a year from now? What's it going to look like 3 months from now? We've got to start asking ourselves this. Are you prepared enough? Am I prepared enough? I'm ordering more dried food. And look, again, to these people who we talk about daily, who always have the excuses, I don't have any money. There's no reason why you can't go to a discount store and go buy 10 cans of Campbell's soup or some beans or some type of canned food today. There's no excuse that you don't have $10 or $15. Again, people don't want to make the sacrifices. They don't want to cut other luxuries out of their life. They'd rather go spend $9 on a coffee than go buy 9 cans of food. So to those people, either you wake up right now or it is going to be too late. I am sounding the alarm today that we are getting very, very close to the inevitable. Something very, very ominous is knocking at the door, ladies and gentlemen. National eviction ban has been struck down. What renters need to know. How about this? This is what we all need to know. 90% of rental assistance funds have not been distributed. Why? Why have these funds not been distributed to people that need it? Where is the money? And why is it being held up? Or where is it? Did it go somewhere else? 7 states will protect renters until October. But most of the country now, the eviction ban is over. And the courthouses are going to be packed tomorrow morning. For most of the country, things are about to get very, very real. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, what you're seeing in your areas. And this is going to be a real disaster, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine the amount of properties that are going to be destroyed when these renters are eventually forced out of these properties. And how long is it going to take to get these renters, who many had jobs, gainfully employed, decided not to pay rent and just go out and spend the money on other things instead of paying their debts? And let's not forget that many of these renters are small mom and pop businesses. And how do they pay their bills now? They've been put in a position now where they may lose their homes. They may lose the rental properties. And of course, we all know the big boys are coming. BlackRock, the Blackstones, the Vanguards, etc., are going to come in. California even talking about now that they're going to come in and buy up a lot of these properties. That, you know, they're passing these laws now that if the properties aren't in a certain condition, they can fine you $2,000 a day, $5,000 a day. If you can't pay, they'll just take your rental property. So California is not a good state to be a landlord. It's getting very, very dangerous here in California to do any type of business, especially being a landlord. Here's another story. I thought this was very interesting. Landlord, Air Force vet, homeless after tenants stopped paying rent during eviction ban. This comes from New York. This is a Air Force vet who is owed $50,000. Her renter, gainfully employed, decided not to pay her, and now she's in big trouble. She's tapped out. She doesn't know how to pay, you know, the bills that she has because this is her income, this is her job, and basically the system said that you don't get paid. So, you know, as Maxine Waters said, just go out and get a loan from the bank. She was saying that she talked to her attorney and that court dates that are being presented right now, if you go to court tomorrow, your court date, you'll be lucky if you got a court date in March of 2022. So that means that gainfully employed renter, that gainfully employed tenant is going to be in your house until at least March. And by the time they get him out, 30 days, he'll have 30 days to get out, March, April, if you're lucky. So 7, 8, 9 months from now, maybe they'll get the tenant out. I mean, this just isn't right. This just isn't moral. When you shake hands, you sign your name on the dotted line, you agree to a deal, and then you just walk away from that deal. Terrible. But that's today. That's how people act today. A handshake means nothing. Their word means nothing today. They're not even embarrassed. Your grandparents, your parents would have never done anything like this. They would have been too embarrassed to ever do anything like this. But this is society today where people, people are married. They don't agree on something. They just get divorced. It's just a business contract that they rip up. Nobody has any real dedication, loyalty. And we're seeing that in the rental business where people just think they don't have to pay their bills. They don't have to pay their debts. And if they can get away with it, they'll get away with it. That handshake doesn't mean anything. Giving their word to something doesn't mean anything today. And that's really sad. Here's another one coming from CNBC. Powell's benign view on inflation is getting pushback at the Fed and elsewhere. Jerome Powell believes that this inflation that we're seeing whipping through the economy is going to subside. Comment down below. Is inflation going to subside? He believes it's going to subside soon. I don't. I know many of you don't believe this. And again, this is why I continue to buy more precious metals. I'm going to continue to bet against this debt, and we got to be very, very careful with the destruction that we're witnessing of the U.S. dollar now. This inflation, if it gets any worse than it is right now, we are really, really going to see some serious trouble here in America. We're already beginning to see problems. 5-6% people are tolerating it, but they're having problems. But as they go back to their low-paying jobs, as the benefits end, how many are going to be able to tolerate this 5-6% inflation? And if it ticks up another 2-3%, 4%, 5%, or worse, what are people going to do? I mean, you got to remember that this is a service-based economy where people, millions of people are earning low wage, minimum wage, and they are going to just get absolutely destroyed by the rising cost of fuel, of insurance cost, of rent, food prices. It's going to be, it is really going to wreak havoc on most of America. No fewer than five presidents told CNBC it's time to pull back on the easy money policies. Even some of these people are beginning to get worried that if we don't pull the patient off these drugs right now, this thing is going to get very, very sketchy. Mike Kucharski, owner of JKC Trucking in Summit, Illinois, he was interviewed in this article also. He says he's witnessing escalating freight rates caused by lower capacity, rising demand, higher energy prices, food prices up, insurance costs up. He said it's 2 to 3 days just to unload a truck. Think about that. A truck is sitting somewhere at a warehouse, might be sitting at a port. Might take 2 or 3 days just to get loaded, 2 to 3 days to unload. Guess who's going to pay for all that? You are. You are. He says he's not paying for it. It's being passed on to the consumer. And again, when people are going back, returning to these $10, $12, $15 an hour jobs, I do not know how they are going to survive the brunt of this inflation. How long will the US dollar's dominance last? This is on the hedge. And I don't know how much longer it can last, especially when we're seeing what's happening in Afghanistan and the world watching this debacle, this tragedy and embarrassment and weakness. The bankruptcy of America and its currency have been gradual, but it can go from gradual to sudden, ladies and gentlemen, very, very quickly. Reserve currency status doesn't last forever. Look back hundreds of years ago to Portugal, Spain, Netherlands, France, Britain, and then the US, all the way back to 1400. And here we are in 2021. All these currencies at some point no longer were the world reserve currency. How much longer does the dollar have? And if we obviously continue to keep printing money out of thin air, debasing the currency, endless wars throughout the world, $2 trillion spent in Afghanistan, this infrastructure bill, $4.1 trillion, $5 trillion, whatever it's going to be, where's the money coming from? You know where it's coming from. This debt will be monetized by the Fed, and you will pay for it, your kids will pay for it, your grandkids will pay for it, and the entire country, and really the future of this country is going to pay for it. Reserve currencies hold the status because of the rest of the world having confidence in the soundness of the currency, confidence in the power and prestige of the country that issues it. Most of the world, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, are beginning to lose confidence in the United States of America. They're watching this catastrophe unfold in Afghanistan, and this isn't the only one. I mean, we can go back decades, we can go back to Iraq, a complete disaster. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, we have been fighting for decades, and it is going to cost America, I believe, its world reserve status. And the trillions of dollars that we spent on these needless wars, trying to control the entire world, police the entire world. And you look at China, they've done the opposite. They're not policing the world, they're not starting wars, they're cutting deals, they're making deals. And now you see Saudi Arabia and Russia cutting deals, Russia and China cutting deals. You see countries now looking for any option to get out of dollars. They're looking for options, and that option is going to be China. if America does not wake up. They're watching the US and they're asking, is this really the world superpower? Is this the dominant world superpower? You look at a country like Taiwan, they must be freaking out watching what's happening in Afghanistan. Any country that we promise to protect right now must be freaking out. If it's not Afghanistan, then it's endless spending, endless deficits. It's paying people to sit at home, to not work, not produce, not innovate, not manufacture, just take the free money. It's all this continued inflation. We will see more international banks, more international businesses, and more governments diversify out of US dollars because of all this. Again, it's not just the wars, it's not just Afghanistan. They're watching us print to infinity. And most of the world is doing this. It's a race to the bottom, there's no doubt about it. But we're doing it bigger and better than anybody. We have the biggest debt in the entire world. We are the largest debtor nation on planet Earth. And the debts and deficits are skyrocketing, and the world is watching. All this dollar printing and interest suppression is good for a couple things: gold and silver. It's a very bad thing for the US dollar. So I'm going to wrap it up right here, but I want to share one last article with all of you, and this comes from The Hedge, and it's a Greg Hunter interview of guest Craig Hemke. And I've watched Greg interview Craig Hemke probably a half a dozen times. Really smart guy. If you get a chance, check it out. And I'm just going to pull out one part of the interview here. Craig Hemke says this, he's talking about the $4.1 trillion infrastructure plan. He says the $4.1 trillion or so-called infrastructure will be paid by taxing rich people. He goes on to say, no, it's not going to be paid by taxing rich people. It'll be China loaning us the money. Then he says, no. He says no foreign country is going to loan us the money because they're all losing confidence in us. The money will come from the Fed monetizing debt. He goes on to say, how do you go broke? At first slowly, then all at once. So read the article or check out the show on Greg Hunter's channel. Very, very, very good. But I want to leave it there today. So much going on, ladies and gentlemen. Again, not just here, but globally. What's going to happen tomorrow, we have no idea. What the markets are going to do, what's going to happen over in Afghanistan. It's really sad to see the state of affairs that we are in. And there's really nothing that we can do except look out for ourselves right now, to stay close to family and friends, continue to prepare the best that we can. It's time to stop making excuses. This is a time now to be very proactive, not so much reactive, but the time now to be proactive. There's no excuses right now that you can't go to the store and get 10 cans of food, 5 cans of food, maybe 20 cans of food, to order some dry food, to order a little bit of gold, to order a little bit of silver, to work on your security situations, to put some items away for bartering, to read a little bit, gain a little bit more knowledge. There's no excuses, ladies and gentlemen. And for the people out there that just believe that this is a joke and that they can hope it to go away, that everything will be just fine because it always is, it's different this time. You know, they always say it's different this time. You people are going to really, really get hurt. You are going to be the people that lose it all, get wiped out. We have never, ever seen a time in our history where this country has been so weak, so vulnerable, and the people have been so asleep. I know 97% of you watching this video today are wide awake and know exactly what's going on, and many of you probably went out, bought a little bit more food today, put a little water away, put some gear away, and did what you had to do. While people continue to play video games and watch television and Netflix and whatever they do. Those people are going to pay a huge price. They really are. And it's sad that they're just watching things decay and absolutely in denial, ignoring reality. Reality, ladies and gentlemen, is not going to be stopped. Reality is coming. Reality is knocking at the door. That door is going to open, and people are going to be shocked at what they're going to see. They are going to see evil. God bless all of you. Continue to prepare. Continue to pray for those families that lost loved ones in Afghanistan. Pray for this country. Pray that somewhere, somehow, we get some sort of leadership.